invitation, should you choose to accept it.
It's a quest. It's a quest for fun.
Well, The Rock says, why don't we just cut right to the chase?
Okay, now he wants to get together. Well, he wants to talk.
I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
It's showtime, folks!
What are you?
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to And I Quote, the weekly show where we introduce you to content creators of all shapes and sizes that join us from any and all corners of the nerd universe. We find out more about them and we take your questions. I am your host, Ryan of Nerd Culture, and our guest this week is a educational consultant and founder, a superstar extraordinaire. Please welcome Sheila Thomas. Sheila, welcome to the program. How are you?
Thank you, Ryan. I am doing absolutely amazing today. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well, Thank you so much for being with us. Now, if you have any questions for Sheila as we go throughout the course of this show, make sure you leave them in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Our producer is going to be keeping an eye on it as we go throughout the course of this program. And if this is your first time here, welcome. And don't forget to like and share this video with all of your closest friends because they're going to like the way they look after watching or listening to this episode of And I Quote. I guarantee it. So, Sheila, first things first, what were some of your favorite books or writers growing up?
Oh, my goodness. So, one of my favorite books was Charlotte's Web. I love that story even before it became, movies, but I love the stories. And this is going to be really nerdy here. I love the encyclopedia. I would read the encyclopedia.
Wow.
And back in
you don't hear that very often.
Right. But we had, and I'm much older than you, but we had these little green encyclopedias and they had the clear pages in there where it showed the different body parts and ligaments and all that. And I was just so intrigued with that. So I would read the encyclopedia a lot. So yeah, call me a nerd, but yeah. And Reader's Digest as a teenager, to me, coming home on a Friday night to read my Reader's Digest when it came in the mail, Time magazine. That was so much fun. So, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, granted, I remember reading bits and pieces of encyclopedias, too, growing up, but I don't remember actually, digging them to the point where I want all 6 volumes, Mom.
Yeah.
It's just, I didn't ask her, hey, can I get an Encyclopedia Britannica for Christmas this year? I don't know what the heck's going on. And, in some game shows back in the 90s, for me anyway, that's the decade that I grew up on Nickelodeon, some of the prizes for people who won on their game shows were a set of encyclopedias from Britannica.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So...
because they were expensive. And so I remember back in the day when they went door to door selling those. And my mom had that green set of encyclopedias. And I was just intrigued with those.
Goodness gracious. People are already chiming in here. Brian is here. He says, hello, Brian. Good to see you. Hope everything's well in your neck of the woods in the state of Florida. Let's see. Brian also says that's Nicole's favorite too. Are you referring to the Charlotte's Web portion or the encyclopedia there, Brian? If you could be just a little bit more specific. By the way, Nicole is his wife that he is referring to. Brian is what he's getting at there. But my goodness, speaking of Charlotte's Web, quick sidebar though. What was your favorite iteration of Charlotte's Web when it comes to the movies? Was it the animated version or the live action version with Dakota Fanning?
Animated.
There you go.
It was first, animated version. That's like my son and I were talking about Fat Albert the other day. He had on this little story.
Hey.
It's Fat Albert. And so he was stating that. I said, have you seen Fat Albert before? He said, yeah, Mom. And so he showed me the, newer version. I said, no, son, the animated version was so much better. So yeah, he doesn't understand.
It's okay. There could be only one. There you go. But I will say though, that movie breaks you.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the last 10 minutes. My gosh, does that film break you?
Right.
I mean, it's great animation. Don't get me wrong. It's great, filmmaking. Do not get me wrong. It's very sad.
Yes.
But anywho, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean to go off on a random tangent, but still, I digress. What would you say were some of your favorite movies or TV series growing up? What do you think?
You know what? I loved Laverne and Shirley. Have you ever watched Laverne and Shirley?
I'm familiar with it. I'm not sure if I've seen a full-length episode or not, but I know that YouTube has access to a lot of classic TV series.
Yeah. Laverne and Shirley, The Cosby Show were my favorites growing up. The Cosby Show, I learned so much from watching that show, but just, and then I watched a lot of game shows as well with my grandmother. So, yeah. grew up watching game shows. But yeah, those are some of my favorites.
What was your favorite game show, though?
The
There's
Price
so
is
many.
Right. Yeah, so many, but The Price is Right. I mean, I
With
can
our good friend Bob Barker?
Bart Barker. How do you know Bart Barker? Yeah, Bart
No, I
Barker.
don't. I just say that he's a friend of mine, but he's not
Yeah.
actually. I just know him professionally, but I know. I'm sorry. Spoiler alert. I do not know him personally.
Yeah, but yeah, I love that Wheel of Fortune. So Price is Right. Those are some of my favorites.
You know, Wheel of Fortune turned 40 this year.
I saw that.
That's
I did.
crazy.
And I think they've been on the host. He's been on there for how many years? All of those years, almost. Yes.
Amazing, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Goodness gracious. So amazing. Let's see here. Brian chimes in. He says, Nicole likes this episode very, very much, Ryan. Thank you, Brian, for the likes. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Brian says both animated and live action versions are just fine. They're both good versions of Charlotte's Web. Okay, fine. That's to each their own. That's fine.
Right.
Not a problem. If you like both versions, that's fine because you can revisit it whenever you wish. That's up to you.
Right.
Goodness gracious. Let's see here. Wonder who's. Oh, he says, Sheila, my wife has been an educator for 18 years in middle school English as well as language arts and ESL. Brian's talking about his wife, Nicole.
Awesome. Well, 32 years for me. I'm retired. I taught K through fifth grade, everything, all subjects. EIP teacher, did a little dabble in school leadership. Then college level, Albany Technical College, and my local college here, Valdosta State, where I supervise the student teachers. So I just love education. I love English language arts. I love teaching children to read. That is my passion. That's my jam. If I could just, I'm not going to say if I could just do that every day because I did stop. I did retire, but I'm doing something different now that I guess we'll talk about later in the show. But teaching children to read, English language arts, and always been what I love to do. So kudos to your wife. Congratulations.
There you go. 2 thumbs way, way up. Excellent stuff. So when did you decide to become a writer?
Well, I decided to become a writer when I was attending my college years, many, many, many years ago, back in the 1980s, 88, I would say. I was taking a course, a literature course, and one of our tasks or assignments was to write a book for children. And when I wrote that book, I said, you know what? I enjoy this. And I always wanted to become a writer. So as I was teaching in school and continued to educate children, and I would look at books and say, I could do this. I could write. I did it in college. And so it really manifested during COVID because I knew what I wanted to write about. I had one book that I wanted to always write about for women and about sort of my life story, but I always wanted to write children's books. So I wrote that book first, one for women, and then delved into the books for children. So it's something that I've wanted to do for over 30 years, is to become an author.
That is truly amazing. Once again, we're talking with Sheila Thomas on this episode of Van Dyke Quote. Make sure you like and share this video with all of your closest friends. If you have any questions for Sheila, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. I'd be more than happy to hear from you. Whether you're watching this live or on the replay, thank you so much for being here. What would you say are some of the biggest rewards about being a writer?
I'm going to share one reward yesterday. People think I'm famous. So yesterday I was at an event with my community, and there was a little girl just staring at me. And so her mom came up to me and said, her picture is on the back of a book I read. And so I felt like a celebrity. Yes. So know that I've made a difference in the lives of children. And my books are about my sons, and it was for children of my race to see themselves in a book, see characters that look like them. And so that has been exciting and rewarding for me to see children say, oh, he looks like me or she looks like me in the stories that I write. So, and to let them know that you can do that as well. So yeah, to think that I may be a little famous. I told you today's show is going to call.
Exactly. Yeah. If you think the scholastic book fairs that we attended as children were something, we haven't seen anything yet. When Sheila Thomas was on the scene, red carpet, velvet ropes, giant big billboards, and incredible events coming up on the marquee. That's fantastic stuff. Exactly, it's coming. We know she will occurs. We know it is. Real quick, I do want to take a moment to acknowledge Brian. Brian is on fire in the chat. Let me tell you. He says, eventually when we move from Florida to the state of Texas to San Antonio next year, my wife is thinking about teaching at UTSA, which I believe stands for University of Texas of San Antonio. And then he also says that my wife, Nicole, really wants to write a book.
And she should. First of all, teaching on the college level is so much fun. So I've enjoyed the elementary school for many years, but when you work with college students, of course, you have different expectations, but they're still students. They're still not quite mature yet, but they do have some maturity, but you can relate to them a little bit better. You have higher expectations, but do know you still have to kind of coddle them a little bit and encourage them to do their very best. The beauty of mine was everyone I worked with on college level, whether it was a technical college or at my local university, were all, future educators. So I encouraged them and I would share stories with them to encourage them to be great educators, to not give up on this journey, to go into that classroom and remember they're doing it for the children and not for themselves. So teach on the college level, yes, go for it. Now, writing your book, you need to start writing that book today. You can do it. I self-publish. You may want to go with a publisher. Whatever route you choose, go ahead and do it. My first book, can I continue? Is it okay?
No, sure. I do have more questions for you, but it's all right. Please feel free.
So with this book, I want to just tell Nicole how quickly I wrote this book. I wrote JR's Biggest Fan in 20 minutes. And this is my book that I wrote about my sons and how as a mom, I support them in everything they did. And I was taking a course on how to become a writer of children's books. And the person leading the course said, write your story. And so I quickly wrote the story and I liked it. And so what I did, of course, I had an editor to look at it and make a few changes here and there. So it was done quickly. So if it's in you, go ahead and do it. Don't give up. Don't give up on your dreams. Write the book.
Plenty of mic drop moments right there. In the words of a brand that's been around for ages, just do it. Anyway,
yes.
Sorry. I wore a pair of those when I was a kid. I'm sorry. We all did, though. We've all been there. I mean, we all know what brand I'm speaking of. If you don't know, just Google it later.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of the coin here, if you don't mind me asking, what are some of the biggest challenges about being a writer?
Marketing. That's the hardest part for me. Creating videos, even doing this. About a year and a half ago, I wouldn't dare come on and yep, like I'm doing. But now I enjoy it so much, because you have to continue to do it, and when you're passionate about what you're doing, it becomes easier. But marketing, creating those reels and the content, that's kind of hard. And even though I'm a writer, but having to write a content for a reel is kind of different than writing content for a book. And then putting your face in front of a video to talk about it or to make some cute little videos, it's a little challenging for me. So that would be the hard part.
Yep. So many writers, so many books, so much to do, so little time, as one person once said.
Yes.
But with that being said, I do want to share something with you. And for those of you who are watching or listening to this, I will describe this as best I can. We're looking at an image here of a book. This is called Mommy's Little SONshine. What exactly is this, and how did this all come about?
Oh, let me tell you about my book, Mommy's Little SONshine. So I'm the mother of 3 sons, a 36-year-old, a 31-year-old, and an 18-year-old. My 36-year-old, I could say my bonus son, that's my stepson. And then the 31-year-old is my son, and the 18-year-old is my first son as well. So I do a parenting course for moms titled Raising Brilliant Black and Brown Boys. I also do another parenting course, but I niche down because there's so much in the media about Black boys not being successful and moms not understanding what to do with their sons. So I wrote this to encourage them as a boy mom that this is your sunshine. nurture him, love on him. And the pages in the story say, in the beginning, just kissing his little feet and his little hands, because he's your little sunshine, wiping his tears. He's your little sunshine. So that's how this book occurred, because I'm a mother of 3 sunshines and a grand sunshine, no girls. So I just wrote a book about them because they're our little sunshine and we love them so much. So that's how that book came about.
Oh, that is truly amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And by the way, Brian, there is information about this in the description of this video. It's actually scrolling across the screen right now, and how you can get in touch with Sheila and where you can follow her on social media. That link to her website is here. It's also placed in the description of this below. But we will discuss more of that a little bit later on. So there you go. How can my wife Nicole connect with you? That is Brian's question to you, Sheila.
Oh, yes.
So.
And Nicole, I would love to connect with you. I would love to share with you. One thing I do is sharing with other future authors how I did it, because I want everyone to win. And it's nothing that I charge for. There are many other people, but I want people to win out, because we need our stories out there for our children or adults, whoever you choose to write for. So I don't mind connecting about my journey as an educator and now as an author and an educational consultant. And you could also flourish in that area as well.
That's just fabulous. And speaking of which, another image I'd like to address here with you who may be watching or listening to this. Thomas, educational consultant and training. What exactly is this incredible looking image, and how did this all come about?
Well, Thomas Educational Consultant and Training came about after many, many years of being an educator and listening to my peers and administrators and everyone complain about parents. Well, let me back it up. So I was a trainer first for what we call Bright from the Start, which is the licensing agency for daycare providers here in the state of Georgia. So I would travel all over Georgia, training teachers on, things they need to know to work with their children as well as with their parents. But it occurred to me after, like, say, so many years of being an educator and hearing people say, these parents don't know what they're doing. These parents need to work with their children. These parents. I said, well, you know what? We have the knowledge. The parents don't have the knowledge. They didn't attend school. They don't have a PhD or master's degree or even a bachelor's degree in education. We do. And I'm not just saying parents who are uneducated. I have friends who would tell me all the time, Sheila, can you help my baby? And these were nurses or, people in good positions. So I decided to take my training that I've done for teachers and daycare providers, and I utilize it to create a parent curriculum. So my overall parent curriculum is called P.A.C.E.S, Parents Advocating for Their Child's Educational Success. Yes, it's long. And so what I...
Still good with the words, though, and the acronyms. You're a great wordsmith. You're getting really, you've been doing it for so long. It's second nature. Yeah.
So what I do is I equip and empower parents with skills and resources they need to advocate for their children, meaning that we're building a bridge. We're collapsing the bridge, and we don't want to collapse because we don't want to fall. We're connecting the bridge between parents and the schools. We want them to work together. So I'm teaching parents about positive parenting. I teach them about understanding their child and their child's development, the different multiple intelligences, about love languages, and the most important part about communication between a parent and a child and a parent and the teacher. So that is part of the modules. There are 8 modules. I'm sitting here looking at them. There are 8 modules that I teach to the parents. And when these parents understand what they need to do to help their children to be successful and to help them and to be a better parent, not saying they're not a good parent, but a knowledgeable, I'll say that, a more knowledgeable parent of what to talk to the teachers about. For instance, well, I'll say my son Eric, for example, and my son James. Both of them used to always tap, tap, tap. And that's because they're musical. And so the teacher would complain, they're always tapping on the desk. And I would explain to the teacher, because they're musical. They both play in the band. They're both percussionists. And so they understood it better. Now, does that mean that the child is allowed to go to school and tap on the desk? No. But now the teacher understands better who that child is. So that's why it's important for the parent to understand their child so they could better articulate it to the teacher. Phew.
It's okay. Take a deep breath. You're going to be just fine. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. You're not going to be wrong. Once again, we are talking with Sheila Thomas on this episode of And I Quote. If this is your first time here, welcome. Don't forget to like and share this video with all of your closest friends. If you have any questions for Sheila, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. We'd be more than happy to present them to her and take them as they come and one step at a time. Geez, that's a lot of words that I'm saying. Gee willikers. Have there been any special memories for you from being at events or schools or campuses, whether you were there promoting your business or there promoting your books?
Oh, so many. I shared the one earlier about the little girl, she's like, you're an author, but there's just so many. There's so many I can't even name them all. But just setting up and knowing that, hey, I did this to me, knowing that it's something a goal that I'd accomplished for many, many years. I wanted to be a writer. So every time I set up my table for vendor events, I take a picture to remind myself, you did this, and it's encouraging myself because we need to be encouraged. Even myself falls short that day. If I make one connection with someone, if someone like Saturday, I had a vendor event I told you about, and it was okay. I didn't sell a lot of books, but I made a lot of connections. And one person told me, she said, I like what you're doing. What you're doing is speaking positive to parents. And all of my books, even the one I wrote for women, is about perseverance. So I'm trying to shed a light to tell people, keep going, don't give up. So when a person tells me those things that I like what you're doing, keep it up, that's always a great, moment for me as well.
My goodness, truly amazing, truly amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Brian, once again, Brian's having the time of his life in this chat. I got to tell you, he is just having the time of my life. Isn't that a song from the 80s? I think it is.
That I never, yeah.
See, I understood that. I'm telling you, I understood that reference. And by the way, Sheila, nobody puts baby in the corner. Anyway, so Brian says Nicole is big on using something known as comics in her classroom, and she even hosts panels at Comic-Cons for this.
Awesome. Yeah, and you know what? What do we call those? Mentor scripts, So, and by using those comics in the classroom, you're making it relatable for the students, And so I would use even SpongeBob, to teach in the classroom. If I'm teaching, students about, how the story begins and then how the momentum goes in the story, the climax, and then the follow action, why not use, a story they can relate to? So I would tell the students, we start out with SpongeBob and, it's a happy day. Then all of a sudden something happens, dun, 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 and there's that music, that dramatic music. That's the climax. And then, we go downhill. And so, use in the story that was kind of all over the place, but using comics in the story makes it relatable to students. So kudos to you again for doing that. Keep doing what you're doing. Write your own comic book. Do that. That would be great.
Spectacular. Oh, there's a pineapple on it. Anyway, no, don't get started. Anyway, gee willikers. Any other, what am I trying to say? Any other pieces of advice you would give to aspiring writers out there?
One thing I've done is, like I say, my books pretty much are about positivity, perseverance. I wrote the one for women. I don't think I showed that one, but this one called W.A.I.T, Women Anticipating Incredible Turnaround. I wrote that one, to teach women and tell women about what I went through. So it began my journey. It began with my journey and about things I've done. And so I've decided as a writer, I want to keep that theme, even with my books for children, everything is positive. This coloring book is Yes, I Can. Everything is about positivity and reaching someone. So when you decide to become a writer, find that genre or what gives you that passion. One main tip I need to give you as a writer, though, is make sure you find someone as a coach that would help you with this journey because you can't walk it alone. You cannot do this alone. You need to find someone who will help you write your book, the content, it's your knowledge, but they'll help you with the someone to help you with the mechanics of it, a second reader. And then also just get it done. Finding that perfect illustrator. First book I had a great illustrator. So I've changed illustrators a couple of times, but just remember you got to continue and it's going to work out. Just you'll keep growing like I have. Like I said, I wouldn't talk like this year and a half ago, but now I'm rambling on and on. Market yourself.
No. It's not a problem. We thank you so much for sharing all of it with us, whether it's for a few seconds or even a long extended thought on this particular question. It's fine. We don't mind it here. Gee willikers. Aside from the great advice that you just gave for people who are aspiring writers out there and things of that nature, once again, Brian is having the time of his life. He says her best story that my wife is talking about right now is using the story known as X-Men, God Loves, Man Kills, which is a classic graphic novel that was written way back in the day.
Yes.
And I've read this one. It's really, really good. If you're a comic book fan or you're just starting to get into comic books, X-Men, God Loves, Man Kills. It's a standalone, so you don't have to read like 50,000 issues. It's all put together in this one trade paperback, which you can find at your local, book retailers? Is that the way to say it? Yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Brian also says she's had great conversations about differences between race/mutants and Malcolm X/MLK. It was a great book for that kind of conversation with the X-Men book.
Yeah. Yes. You found something relatable to the students. And that's what matters. We have to think, what would the students like? What interests them? What gets them going? So that's good. Again, I love it. I could tell you're a great educator and keep doing what you're doing. We need more great educators.
There you go. Yeah, I definitely agree with that 100%. Excuse me. Who would you say are some of your favorite writers of today? Any other names stand out?
I'm reading Viola Davis's book.
Mm-hmm.
She's one of my favorite writers, and
really good actress too.
Yes, she is.
She's done a lot in her career.
Yeah. My brain freeze. Robinson. I can't think of her first name for right now. Nothing in the world. But yeah, Viola Davis right now, I'm into her books. But, I read, and I haven't been reading like I should have in a while. But back in the day, I used to read a lot of Elin Harris, God rest his soul. Some of his stories back in the day as well. So, yeah.
All right, there you go. No problem with that. Nice little list there of writers. Should people decide they want to check them out, that is more than cool. People can do that. Not a problem at all. I do want to let you know that this episode and every episode of And I quote, is indeed powered by Pod Decks. Now, Pod Decks are the hottest new tool for podcasters looking to have more meaningful conversations or gamify their podcast. You simply shuffle up the cards, you ask a question, and you let the content roll. Get yours today at poddex.com. Make sure you use that promo code Ryan10. That's Ryan10, RYAN10 for 10% off your order. You're not going to want to miss out on that. And once again, we are talking with the incredible Sheila Thomas on this episode of And I Quote. Don't forget to like and share this video with all of your closest friends because they're going to like the way they look after watching or listening to this episode of And I Quote. I guarantee it. Yes, I sound like a walking billboard, but I don't care. So with that being said, do you have a favorite thing that you do for a girls' night out, Sheila?
I love to dance, and I haven't really had a good girls' night out. I've been trying to get my girls to have a girls' night out, but I love to dance. I love to dance. Of course, love to go out and get some good food to eat. Nice restaurant, but haven't been out dancing in a long time. So I really wish I could do that. Even if we just go to a home, one of our houses, and just put some music on and do some great dancing and fun. That's always so much fun for me. And like I said, good food. I always love to eat.
Nothing wrong with that. Let's prove tonight. Anyway, sorry, I got some songs on the brain. But gee whiz. Brian brings up Nicole really likes a book called Bird. Interesting. Okay. Not sure what it's about. I've never heard of that, Brian, but if you got more info, let us know. Aside from that, our next question, which is powered by our good friends over here at Poddex, What famous person's memoir would you love to read?
Oprah. I love my Oprah.
You get a car. You get a car. You all get a car. No, I'm sorry.
Yes, yes, I love Oprah Winfrey. You know, I always envision in my classroom that my door would open one day and she would come in with her camera crew and they would just record me just teaching. It didn't happen, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm still going to meet her one day. I will meet Oprah Winfrey one day.
And when that happens, please feel free to document it, show some footage, get someone to tape it or something like that. I'm not sure how that works. That's going to be up to the producers and the people who work behind the scenes. But when that does happen, I wish you the best with that. I really do.
Thank you. Oh, yeah. We will get pictures. Lots of pictures. I promise you I will.
Lots of selfies. Okay, Oprah, smile for me right here.
Yes,
Take out my camera. Hold on.
Yes.
And my selfie stick. Oh, it's in my car. Let me go get it. I'm sorry. Anyway, back then, when you had to study for what is known as a test, what is a proven successful method to do so?
Well, like I tell my son, I've never been a person who just crammed for a test. I always, when I came home from school, studied my notes, reviewed daily. I told you I was inside. I read the encyclopedia, so I would read the information every day. So when it was time for the test, I already had it in me. So all I had to go back do is just review it a little bit. But that is the easiest way. Don't wait to the last minute to study for a test. Study the information daily. Review the notes daily.
There you go. Key word we've gotten out of this whole conversation we've had on this episode of Anti-Quote is the word daily. Today's secret word is daily. Now, you'll never know what to do when anyone says a secret word, right? Scream real loud. Sorry, that's a TV show from way back in the day.
Yes.
Way back. And I remember watching reruns of that. Yeah. I remember watching reruns of that, honestly. And there were some funny moments, don't get me wrong, but when you look back on it now, I just think to myself, boy, this show was just weird. I don't know. When you watch something as a kid, you think it's the best thing in the world. And then years later, when you go back and revisit it, you think to yourself, I really like this.
Right.
What's going on with me? My brain must be miswired. No, I'm just kidding. Listen, if you still like that show, by all means, enjoy the reruns. I'm sure you can find them on YouTube or something.
I'm sure. Everything's on YouTube. Everything.
There's got to be something for that. I don't know. If anyone knows about that, let us know in the chat. But aside from that, our next question, which is powered by our good friends at Poddex, who's someone you'd like to trade places with for a day?
I won't say Oprah again, but maybe Mrs. Michelle Obama. Because I love the work that she does. She's a positive person. She, of course, wears nice clothes. And then she's brilliant. So, and she's a mother of 2 girls. I've had all boys. So I have the opportunity to experience that. When she was in the White House, I have the opportunity to stay in the White House. So, yeah, I think it would be Mrs. Michelle Obama.
There you go. Compare notes, what it was like for raising her children, and then you look back, you're like, it's my 3 sons.
Yeah.
Which, that was a television series.
That was a television show? Yes, it was. I was waiting for you to say that.
I was going to say, from way back in the day, it was before my time, man. I'm just a 90s kid over here, which I love the 90s, do not get me wrong. But I understand, and this is something I've learned throughout the course of time, the 80s were a great decade for so many different reasons. My gosh, the fashion, the dancing, the movies, the soundtracks.
Yes.
I mean, you look back on those 80s films, I'm thinking to myself, dang, there's some great music in these films. Great music.
I graduated high school in 86.
Did you?
Yes, and it was great. Oh, man. Yeah, some of the music, I remember us listening to, and it just takes me back to those fun times. And
well, quick sidebar here. What were some of your favorite songs?
Ooh, goodness. Goodness, I have so many.
You can just name 2 or 3. It's fine. We don't want to put too much pressure on you.
Well, I'm a Whitney Houston fan. Anything from Whitney Houston. Anything. So I want to dance with somebody. I love anything from Whitney Houston. Anita Baker. I'm an Anita Baker fan, so I love her
Oh.
songs. Lionel Richie. I like his songs. So yeah, you're taking me back now. So yeah,
It's
yeah.
not even Throwback Thursday yet.
Madonna. I like Madonna. What was the song where she had on like the little tutu and was dancing around? What was that? Was that
I'm
her?
not really sure. If anyone else knows the answer to that question, let us know in the chat. Because for
Yeah.
me, I don't know. There's a few songs I know of hers. By the way, specifically, I'm referring to the artist known as Madonna. I remember this used to be my playground because that was the song in A League of Their Own, one of the greatest sports movies ever made, probably one of the best films ever made. Period.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great song. I'm one of the few people who liked her James Bond theme song, Die Another Day, that she did in 2002, which coincidentally enough, that film just turned 20 last month.
Mm-hmm.
Not a great film, though.
Mm-hmm.
Not a great film. Like the music, but not a great film.
Yeah.
And then what else do I know her from? Oh, yeah, she was Breathless Mahoney in Dick Tracy with Warren Beatty. You remember that?
No.
You don't?
I don't.
Oh,
I don't.
man. Okay, well, Dick Tracy's a fun comic book movie. Based off a 1940s era comic book, I think it was. So feel free to check that out when you have a chance, if you feel so inclined, because Madonna is in the film. And yes, I know she's not really exactly known for her acting chops, but in that film and A League of Their Own, those are two solid performances.
Okay, awesome.
I might want to write this down. Anywho, this will be homework for later. So I'm sorry. Quick sidetrack. I'm sorry. Once again, we are talking about the incredible writer, educational consultant Sheila Thomas on this episode of And I Quote. Don't forget to like and share this video with all of your closest friends. Our next question, powered by our good friends right here at Poddex. What is something you don't mind paying more money for?
Food. Good food. Mm-hmm. Good food. I was in Atlanta about 3 weeks ago, and a friend of mine, we went to this restaurant, and it was pretty expensive, but it was worth it. And I'm ready to go back because I like good food. Food. Well, I would say food in my hair. I don't mind. I have to be a little vain, but yeah, I don't mind getting my hair done. I love getting my hair done.
Okay, all right. Hey, whatever works. Whatever works for you is it's it's fine with us. They don't call it Hot Atlanta for no reason.
Right.
So, and yes, I've been to that area during certain portions of the year. It can get a bit hot out there. No kidding, no joke.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm further south, like I said, so it's even hotter. Yes.
HOT. Triple T. It's hot, man. It's hot in hot Atlanta. But anywho, I do want to take this opportunity to say thank you to Sheila Thomas for being our guest on this episode of And I Quote. Sheila, thank you so much for being here. Where can the person watching or listening to this follow you on social media and everything you have coming up? What do you got?
On Facebook, Instagram, you can follow me and YouTube at Thomas Ed Consulting. That's my YouTube, my Facebook, my Instagram. I think my Twitter handle as well. So Thomas Ed Consulting. My website is drsheila.thomas.com. And so you can contact me on there to learn more about my parenting program, see the merchandise I have, my books and other merchandise I have out there for you to purchase, or for an author visit. I love going to schools and reading books to children or talking to women about my books as well. So those are the places you can find me.
Thank you so much for being here with us, Sheila. We do greatly appreciate it. Links to where you can follow her and everything else she has coming up are located within the description of this video and of this episode. Whether this is on the video feed or the audio feed, you can find the links in the description. So make sure you check those out. Follow her across all forms of social media. Check in with her. Send her an email. She would love to hear from you. My name is Ryan of Nerd Culture. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at RyanRPM5. Check out my link tree. There's a link for it in the description of each and every one of our past episodes of And I Quote, and this one, of course. I got all kinds of stuff coming up, all kinds of shows. Also, I want to let you guys know that our next movie anniversary watch-along is coming up on Friday night, December the 16th, 2022 at 8 p.m. EST. We're celebrating the 30th anniversary of You Can't Handle the Truth of A Few Good Men with Tom Cruise, Jack Nicholson, Demi Moore, among many, 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 many talented actors and actresses in that film. One of the best courtroom dramas of all time, in my opinion. Did you order the code red? 30th anniversary watch along, Friday night, December the 16th, 8 p.m. EST, Facebook, YouTube, etc. at It's Nerd Culture. Make sure you check us out. All the links are located within the description below. Also, a lot of great not portion. Gee whiz, my words tonight. Lots of other things are coming your way very soon. So in the meantime, stay healthy, stay strong, stay safe. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, smash that notification bell so you can get notified of our new videos go up. And also, we are this close, ladies and gentlemen, we are this close to hitting 1,000 subscribers. If we hit 1,000 subscribers before the end of this year, 2022, we're going to throw the most electrifying party that YouTube has ever seen. But we can only do that with viewers and supporters like you. So tell your friends about us, because they're going to like the way they look after watching or listening to our videos. We guarantee it. In the meantime, life is truly better when reading. Take a look.
Famous Faces and Funnies in Melbourne, Florida is leading the way in pop culture fun. From comic books and graphic novels to Funko Pops and collector's items, Famous Faces and Funnies has it all. Rick Shea and the professional team at Famous Faces and Funnies are friendly and knowledgeable. Whether you're looking for toys, props, collector treasures, or a new comic book, Famous Faces and Funnies is your one-stop shop. To find Famous Faces and Funnies on Facebook and Twitter, just type at FFF Comics.
Sweet dreams they placed on me inside my mind. Chance my truth, twist the past, my memories are fading fast. Am I still missed? Who do you want me to be? Am I still missed?
Join author Gary Zeiger for an animatic short film based on his breakaway Stingray novel series. Watch this animatic short based on the novel Stingray, You Can't Hide Forever at stingrayseries.com. In Stingray, You Can't Hide Forever, Captain Epsilon is putting the band back together to rescue his protege's little sister from the evil conglomerate, while keeping his state-of-the-art warship, Stingray, out of their hands. Watch as the adventure unfolds in the groundbreaking animatic short at stingrayseries.com. Then, join the crew of Stingray with the next novel in the series, Stingray Prophecy, where Captain Epsilon and Dr. Zubre are pivotal players in an ancient prophecy. Can they reunite the people of two worlds before they destroy each other? To learn more, visit stingrayseries.com.
The Multiverse Fundraiser is a virtual fandom jamboree and a charity fundraiser all rolled into one package. We're not just raising funds for a good cause, we're raising fun. Our 2023 event will be supporting the John Ritter Foundation for Aortic Health, which exists to spread awareness of aortic health and prevent unnecessary suffering through genetic research, widespread education, and radical advocacy. Our fundraiser combines celebrity panels, fandom-based panels, indie creators, and all of the fun of a virtual con for free. There's a little something for everyone while we support a cause close to our heart. Join us on January 20th through 22nd, along with celebrity guests Amy Yazbek, Jason Bear, Chris Gaucher, Victor Garber, William Catt, Cress Williams, Beth Broderick, Armin Shimmerman, Guy Gilchrist, Carrie Schaefer, Brian Hull, Amy Carrero, Jennifer Cody, and Joyce DeWitt.
Secrets, trust, worth. The bond between souls intertwined within otherworldly intrigue. Michaela J. brings forth the Elite Warrior series. a collection of dark fantasy romance novels set in a twisted world where power lusts in the hearts of men and devotion seduces the souls of women. Warrior's Secret, Warrior's Trust, and Warrior's Worth. Available now at authormichaelajade.com.
Author Cindy Kep is writing on the edge. Books include Remnant in the Stars, The Loudest Actions, Lines of Succession, Mindstorm, Condemned Courier, the Yerushalayim series, and Animal Eye. Find author Cindy Kep at CKOEPP.com today.
Good morning. Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.